Dvorak in his mug. And today, we ain't fucking rapping. Today, we give it back.
You ain't nothing but garbage.
Parasite eggs are successfully put into vacuum.
The government will kill anyone who tries to take away their profit.
Who's killing the Jews?
People are going with like bombs on their bodies into Israel, and they're blowing themselves up in like coffee shops and like ballrooms.
Whoa, why would they do that? Don't you think it was kind of painful?
We've set out to overthrow functioning constitutional democracies in over 20 countries. We manipulated elections in dozens of countries.
They have these clone parties, okay?
Boom, boom, boom. Now let me hear you say, way-ho. I say boom, boom, boom. Now everybody say, way-ho.
I hate pizza.
You hate pizza?
I know. Guys, boo! I'm out of here! Okay.
Wow.
Just give me a second.
Do you hate babies and puppies too?
Well, some of them.
6 billion idol worshippers who makes God angry every second of their life. Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Tibet, Nepal, Thailand. So many. India alone is 500 million. China is 2 billion. So many. 2 billion Christians, which are idol worshippers. Between Chinese, Indian, Hindus, Buddhists, and Christian, at least 6.5 billion people are idol worshippers that according to the Torah do not have the right to live. Idol worshipper goy, it's death penalty. Not only Jews, even a goy who bow down to an idol, who believe in JC, deserve death penalty.
I think you should speak out in support of Israel.
She's gonna be neutral, huh? I'm just gonna shut up. I know nothing about nothing.
So the first question I have for you is, what is happening in Israel? Right now, as you know, Israel is besieging, bombarding Gaza. You might have seen the videos on social media. It is disturbing. It is terrible what is happening. The word that is happening, the word that we use for what is happening in Gaza is this word. You are not allowed to say this word on YouTube, but that is the intention. What I will argue, though, is that the truth is far more disturbing than this. What is really happening in Gaza is a ritual sacrifice. And this happens quite often in human history. What the Israelis are doing is quite horrific because it is really this sort of sacrifice. Why? Because 47%, almost half of the population of Gaza is under 18 years old. So the majority of people who are getting killed are in fact children. What is most striking or blatant about what's happening in Gaza is that we can all see it for ourselves. And it's almost as though the Israelis want us to see it and want us to hate them.
What is that? I mean, look at that. What is the Star of David? Is there a Star of David in the Bible? What is this?
There actually is. It's the Seal of Solomon.
Everybody just accepts that this star represents Judaism. This is the Star of the Jews. This is the Star of David. No Jew in the time of Jesus would have seen such a symbol. It was only in the 1600s in the city of Prague that star started to become this distinctive symbol for Jews. And now today, it's everywhere. In the Acts of the Apostles, Stephen preaches that, quote, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Remphan, figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon.
The only time you have any mention in the Bible of the children of Israel using a star as a banner or taking up a star as a symbol, it is a false god. It's part of their pagan, satanic worship of Moloch or Remphan. They took up the star of their god Remphan.
The original Jeffrey Epstein in the United States of America is Leo Frank. When they did that, Leo Frank, a Jew in Atlanta, rapes and murders a little
13-year-old girl,
Mary Fagan. It was so brutal, black people who saw what he did were making songs.
Tried framing his black janitor. He's a rich Jewish mafia tied into and tried framing his black janitor. This is what the ADL of today is formed off of, one of the most powerful organizations.
Why did they create the ADL? Because Leo Frank, the first time a black man was allowed to come and testify against a white man in this country was the Leo Frank case. Because they were coming to lynch the black man because they falsely accused him. It's just Jew that did it. So they went and did it. When they did the trial, do you know they started lining up with white women talking about how this Jew would molest them?
Yeah, there was tons of evidence. And they try acting like later they pressed them to do like commune him or to act like he's not guilty, but he's guilty as hell if the evidence.
He was guilty. And what happened was, after that happened, because he got found guilty on a black man's testimony, the ADL created itself because they said, we need, dig this, a guilty Jew who raped and murdered a little girl. But because his picture was going around the country, that was the new image of a rapist and pedophile. The original Jeffrey Epstein in the United States of America is Leo Frank. In every corner of America, when you looked in the paper and saw a molester, he was not black. It was a Jew who raped and murdered a little girl and blamed it on the black man. So, because of that, they said, this is defaming our character. We don't want to be defamed. So we created the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, out of B'nai B'rith.
Which one was
to defend a pedophile and the image of Jews who was involved in rape and pedophilia and murder of children.
You guys prefer free college or free abortions?
Abortion.
Free abortions?
Yeah.
In what age do you think most trans kids determine that they're trans?
Violet told us when she was 1.5. She's been telling us since she could speak.
I hear a lot of, we're not going back. What are we not going back to? The kitchen.
What is your biggest fear in 2025?
People not understanding the difference between lies and truth.
What is a woman?
Does it really matter?
So could I be a woman if I wanted to be?
Yes.
Okay, quickly, so I misunderstand. Are we saying that 2 + 2, if you say it's 4, that's racist? I mean, that sounds like we may be mischaracterizing it. What, if you can quickly sum it up?
No, that's not mischaracterizing it at all. Math is basically racist under this ideology because it says there is no such thing as an objective reality. So 4 might not be the right number. 2 + 2 might actually equal 5.
At the 10-second mark, watch carefully as the aircraft wing crosses the building. Notice how the wing appears to pass behind the structure, when in reality it should remain in front. This is a clear layering error, a common artifact of computer-generated compositing. You'll also see a faint halo along the wing's edge and a mismatch in motion tracking between the plane and the building. These are strong indicators that this footage was digitally altered. While CGI of this kind was technically possible in 2001, the imperfections you see here, especially the depth error, are very typical of early 2000 compositing limitations. In short, this clip does not show authentic footage. Instead, it shows a computer-generated overlay placed onto real video of the skyline. I've pulled a sequence of frames from around the 10-second mark where the wing crosses the building. Looking closely, here are some key observations. The wing edge does not blend naturally with the building's edge. It looks like the video layers are mismatched, causing the wing to slip behind instead of overlapping properly. There's a sharp aliasing halo around the wing in some frames, which is a common artifact of compositing CGI onto real footage. The motion tracking seems slightly off. The building remains stable, but the wing shifts unnaturally in depth. These clues strongly suggest this is CGI'd on positing, not a real aircraft.
Young people are realizing they're being propagandized at a level that older people gladly accepted.
Now you can be ninja with your very own ninja uniform. Practice the art of stealth and secrecy, or become invisible by blending into the shadows. This top quality uniform features a head wrap, hidden pocket for throwing stars, hand forearm sleeves, drawstring waist, and tie-downs on the pants. To order, send $24.95 plus $3.50 shipping and handling to Century Martial Arts Supply, P.O. Box 10077, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma 73140. Please include your height for proper sizing. Rush orders, call 1-800-331-1000. To avoid COD charges, use your credit.
We created standing armies and directed them to fight. We went after to organize ethnic minorities to encourage them to revolt. The first thing we did in Nicaragua was to go to the Mosquito Indians, who had never gotten along with the other people in Nicaragua very well, and give them more money than they had seen in the entirety of history, and arms and training and rationales and sanctuaries in Honduras, and sent them into Nicaragua to attack, kill, fight, rape, burn, pillage. And this has been a technique the CIA has used in Nicaragua, in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Laos, in the Congo, in Iran, Iraq with the Kurds, in different parts of the world. We created, trained, and funded death squads like the Treasury Police in El Salvador. And we've assassinated world leaders, including the United States President in 1963, and I'll get to that in more detail in just a moment. You can never be sure how many people are killed in the jungles of Laos or the hills of Nicaragua, but adding them up as best we can, we come up with a figure of 6 million people killed, minimum figure. It has to be more than that. These things are all done in countries of the third world where the governments don't have the power to force the United States to stop destabilizing the country and brutalizing their people.
Try to appreciate what I'm talking about. Come on! You two must be film buffs, so you wouldn't have been there last night, so you must know about the subliminals in The Exorcist. William Friedkin cut 2 frames of a demon's face into reel 6. People were throwing up in the aisles. There were cases of women going into labor. One gave birth right in the theater. People thought they were possessed. And all because of 2 frames, 2 little frames, and some creative sound. In certain spots, we mixed in the sound of an angry beehive. Oh, really got on people's nerves. Guess whose idea it was, the subliminals?
Yours?
Second assistant cutter. We changed film forever. We should have won Best Picture that year. You know what did? The Sting! It was a travesty! I couldn't let that stand. Had to take it to the next level. So, I raised money for my own movie. I was after the recipe, you see. The universal combination of image and sound that would trigger the fear center of every human brain. I studied intrusive memory formation, the CIA hijinks with MK Ultra. Did you know flashes of 330 hertz can trigger seizures even in people without epilepsy? I applied everything I learned, like Edison creating the light bulb. I used thousands of combinations until one day it happened.
I'll just tell you flat out, because they showed me, they call it the catalog. They get the school pictures from schools all over North America, and they look at the cutest ones and they get the medical stuff from them and clone them and use them. Some people are drugged, so they think that it's a dream, or they're in the astral realm. That's what they tell people, right? The spirit realm. Depends on who you are, where you're from. That's what they tell you. And people just believe it because it's like real, right? Slap them in the face, it hurts, and you don't wake up, so it's not a dream, and man, it's not good. So anyway, I wanted to not attend these clone gatherings, and they were like, we'll bring you here if we want to. Britney Spears made a video about this place because the thing was, to get advertised and promoted and stuff, she had to basically sell her clone, use of her clone, at the cloning center. So the thing was, she signed up right away thinking, yeah, sure, I'll be famous. Well, the thing is, they wanted to use her every night. Old men and stuff. Old men and clones on her, and real people on her clones too. So she doesn't have dreams anymore. Oh, they make songs and stuff about this all the time, about stuck in the dreams, and Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street is based on this. Avatar is based on this too. They do it all the time, communicate this way. But the thing is, cloning is a flawed technology this way, because your mind isn't the same. You're more, it's kind of like You know how, did you ever see Pet Cemetery by Stephen King, the movie?
Yeah.
Where they bury it and they come back whack? Well, they're almost as bad as that. And this is only one aspect of what they do. This is the biggest expose on the Illuminati guys ever, what they do secret. They make multiples of people. Some people are grown in the tank with deformities, and they just scrap those ones, throw them in the chipper. But the other ones, they keep them for backup bodies until they wear out.
In July 2014, leading AIDS researchers were killed when Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 was shot down. In 2024, a plane carrying cancer specialists to a medical conference crashed, and everyone died. What if they had found a cure? Dr. Sebi, a Honduran herbalist, claimed to help people heal all kinds of diseases by restoring the body's natural balance. He was jailed, allegedly caught pneumonia, and died on the way to the hospital. Dr. Frank Suarez reportedly took his own life just before releasing a book on how to fight cancer naturally. Stanley Meyer claimed to invent a water-powered car. Before he could patent it, he drank cranberry juice at a restaurant and collapsed. His last words were, "They poisoned me." Official cause was a brain aneurysm, but was it? Aaron Treywick, a biotech CEO openly against Big Pharma, was working on low-cost cures. He was found dead in a float tank days before revealing a possible cure for AIDS. Is it a coincidence that all these people ended up dead?
Home invasion laws and legal firearms. And when the brutal rapists and criminals come into your homes, I tell you again, load up your matic, light them up, empty the clip.
I got a racist comment. Do you want to hear it?
What is it?
If her parents did not immigrate here, she would be sleeping in cow shit with no rights. The irony.
You will be sleeping in what?
In cow shit with no rights. The irony.
Oh, okay.
Is that true?
How shit? What does that mean?
They're saying if I was still in India with you, we would be sleeping with cows in shit. But you didn't have cows in your house, right?
We did have cows in our house. So big deal.
I have to go.
Yeah.
Now this right here is how the moon actually works and how the phases actually work. Now, if you paid attention to our ancestors, they told us that there's waters above us. It's as above, so below. There's also a firmament above us. The Bible mentioned this, the Quran mentioned it, many religious texts, all of our ancient cultures. And this is why we see the moon in all of its different phases. We're spinning and orbiting the sun and hurtling through space at millions of miles per hour. Why we always see consistent, infinite phases of the moon and only one side of the moon doesn't make any sense. People talk about how the moon is round, but you don't know that. You actually don't know that. That's the thing. Out of all these objects here, there's only one round one. Anything round that you look at and you put on the ceiling, it looks like, you know, a disc. And I'll leave you with this. Do you guys think that it's just a coincidence that the dude who invented NASA, Wernher von Braun, has a Bible quote on his tombstone? Psalms 19:1. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament show us his handiwork. This literally contradicts space. This is what all of our ancestors told us right here. The moon, the sun, the same size, the same distance away from the earth, within the firmament above. The stars on the firmament. Wake up, you've been lied to about everything. Peace and love.
Okay, in 2022, how many black women was kidnapped? In 2022, do it that way. How much?
How many?
Over 97,000.
Damn.
That's a whole lot.
2023.
It stuck out on 2022.
2021. 90, all of us over 90,000.
Yeah.
90, 97, 94. Couple of times was 80 something. Over 1 million black women been kidnapped in the last 10 years. And MSNBC, CNN, Fox, not one damn news channel said one damn thing.
Africa just ditched Google and launched its own internet. Back in March, when undersea cable snapped, half the continent went offline. No YouTube, no Instagram, nothing. It was chaos. But instead of waiting for Silicon Valley to fix it, Africa clapped back. Hard. Introducing Afrinet, the continent's first homegrown internet network. Built by Africans for Africans. It blocks foreign surveillance, runs on African data centers, and even supports AI in 54 African languages. Forget Google Play. Afrinet has AfriStore, its own app store packed with local apps. Oh, and it's plugged into satellites from China and Russia, not Elon Musk. Meanwhile, Google's scrambling with its Umoja cable to stay relevant. But Africa's already moved on. This isn't just tech. This is digital freedom. Afronet is Africa unplugged, unbothered, and unapologetically independent.
Africa just hit a switcheroo on America. Went completely offline from Google Internet and created their own You hear me? Pulled a switcheroo and now have their own internet that the U.S. government does not have access to, cannot monitor, cannot track, but still has access to do all the same things that we have access to do. Google is big mad. The U.S. is going crazy. Everybody's in a frenzy. And let's not forget to mention, America is like falling economically. And Africa has their own dollar now backed by their gold, no longer subscribing to the US dollar.
All the world's a stage. Is it any wonder that that's one of William Shakespeare's most memorable lines? Even people who could care less about poetry. And much like Da Vinci and the others, is it any wonder that there seems to be some sort of cryptic, mystic, embedded meaning when he talks about this is the 7 ages of man in the same act as he opens with the words, all the world's a stage. Well, as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if you've seen these, I'd like you to kind of bring back to memory these 2 motion pictures. They convey huge concepts that I don't have time to revisit right now, but you should have them in your consciousness because they're predictive programming, so they're supposed to be there. The first one is The Truman Show, and the second one is They Live. The Truman Show meets They Live. And hopefully, once we look at it this way, you'll be able to make a whole bunch of connections that I'm not even going to mention in this video. Here is, this trans agenda is far more than sex. Okay, but I want to start by jumping back to Shakespeare. You know, this is the precursor to Hollywood. During the plays of that era, all of the female roles were played by male actors.
I always feel silly. I guess men do going, as they say, in drag, but the history of theater shows that years ago in Elizabethan times, I guess, all of the women's roles were played by men.
And these males were groomed for this. But this troupe or this circle of actors/actresses that traveled around doing these plays, they were trained for this and specialized in this. Their voices were trained, all of it, to pretend to be women. And I know we've all been taught that it was just because of misogyny, right? It's just because everything was patriarchal and all of this type of thing. But that's not the case. It's because this is how that ruling class, the aristocracy, this is how they lived. From ancient times, this is how they lived. And this is common knowledge. This isn't conspiracy theory at all. This is from their own books. And you can see right here in the table of contents, androgyny as the guiding principle of the new age. This is what they're doing. They themselves in their own writings, they talk about their ancient pagan gods and the androgyny. I mean, I don't have to show a picture of the Baphomet again. We all know about the androgyny of the Baphomet. Not only is it a trans species, that it's a goat-headed, pan-type Nephilim creature. They believe, this is what they believe, that you're somehow ascended, you're somehow better than and above if you embrace, you know, all of this bisexuality and transgender and all of that. This is all part of their occult religion. It's not a coincidence that all of these celebrities are coming out and coining this phrase pansexual. Like Miley Cyrus, a new frontier, right? As they're indoctrinating their followers, going all the way back to Disney, the people that they have gathered to follow them, and then they lead them into the new frontier, pansexual. Because pan is just another name for the Baphomet. Pan is another name for Hasatan, a satyr, Satan. So they're open about it. They're open about training humans to be pansexuals, like Pan. And they're not just using celebrities that we've all known and trusted since childhood to push pansexuality. They've raised up an entire crop of models now. They create the trends. We're the followers. They're the puppeteers.
Older people were okay with being propagandized as long as they got a few things out of it. The young people are getting nothing out of it. Wait, you're lying to us and I can't own a house? I can barely have a job? I have to be forced into the gig economy? I get to deliver burritos? And I have to listen to this bullshit, and I have to pretend that this is all real, and I can't afford frozen yogurt with my girlfriend, and I have to go along with this horse shit, and I have nothing and no money for it? If you're doing something, you want to get something out of it. If you are going to delude yourself and believe the bullshit on the news, you have to get a little bit out of it. And what Americans got for many years was a patch of dirt, a little driveway, and a chance. They don't have any of that anymore. We've taken that all away from them. We've pushed them into a gig economy. We've pushed them into the hellscape of rent that goes up every single year. And the propaganda is actually getting worse. It's getting more disconnected from reality, more Orwellian. We're asking them to believe crazier and crazier things and taking away the little bit that most people had. People don't want to be billionaires. People want a house, a family, a little retirement plan, some money in the bank if there's an emergency. They want health care. They want some kind of steady job. They want a community with people that share their values. They're getting none of that right now. They're getting none of that. They're getting Kris Jenner's third head. Kris Jenner has a third head. And everybody's excited about it. People will tell you, the people that don't have any of those things will tell you that they like Kris Jenner's new head. Or they're excited that Taylor Swift, a billionaire, is going to marry Travis Kelce, the man who was birthed by Pfizer. And people have to live vicariously now through that. Why are the kids turning on the engines of propaganda? Number one, they're too smart. The technology is there. They know they're being lied to. Here's number two. You're taking all of the things away from them that this entire system was supposedly, purportedly set up to help them achieve. So if I'm a member of the ruling class, I'm going, what are we doing here? What exactly is happening? We're asking these people to believe this bullshit. That Jeffrey Epstein's just like a weirdo rich guy. No one else did anything wrong. We don't have any of the files, and the videos aren't real. It's actually nothing. Nothing happened. Everything's fine. He never had any relationship with our intelligence agency or another intelligence agency. He had no relationships with anybody. Nobody did anything. He was just a weird rich guy. Don't worry about it. We're asking people to believe all of this stuff and telling them, and the reward for that, okay, is to deliver a Caesar salad to someone. That's the reward. Your job now is to deliver a Caesar salad. Not that it would have been right to buy the bullshit anyway, even if you had the things. But I'm just telling you how the country ran for 100 years. That's what I'm telling you. I'm not saying it was morally correct to go, I'll take the house and the car and you fucking kill everybody. I'm telling you that's how it worked. That's how the country ran forever.
The Continental Army soldiers dying of frostbite at Valley Forge. The Pilgrims struggling to survive in the hard winter soil of Plymouth. The pioneers striking out from Missouri for the wild and dangerous frontier. The outnumbered Kentucky settlers repelling wave after wave of Indian war band attacks from beyond the stockade walls. All of them will be astonished to hear that they were only fighting for a proposition. They believed they were fighting for a nation, a homeland for themselves and their descendants. They fought, they bled, they struggled, they died for us. They built this country for us. America, in all its glory, is their gift to us, handed down across the generations. It belongs to us. It's our birthright. It's our heritage, our destiny. If America is everything and everyone, then it is nothing and no one at all. When they tear down our statues and monuments, mock our history, and insult our traditions, they're attacking our future as well as our past. By changing the stories we tell about ourselves, they believe they can build a new America with the new myths, a new people. But America doesn't belong to them. It belongs to us. It's our home. It's a heritage entrusted to us by our ancestors. It's a way of life that is ours and only ours. If we disappear, then America, too, will cease to exist.
To the lady who is telling white people that they don't wash properly, I don't think that you realize that what you're saying is not only wrong, combined with some racial stuff. First of all, human beings aren't meant to wash up. Haha, look at that. See? Ooh, my eyeball's dirty. Aren't meant to wash up every single day, their whole bodies. They're just not.
So the Trump administration could be in some serious doo-doo after executing 11 people out in international waters on what appears to be a common fishing boat vessel from Venezuela. Here's the problem. The Trump administration's Department of Defense has a clear narrative that this was a boat full of Venezuelan gang members, narco-terrorists, and that it was full of drugs. Well, according to experts who deal in drug interdiction for the federal government, according to the New York Times that they have interviewed, this did not appear to be one of those drug vessels. And here's why. Because on a drug vessel, they will typically only use 2 to 3 people. That's all you need to handle the boat as well as to offload the drugs. And they want to maximize space on that boat for the drugs. The more drugs that you can put on that boat, the more money that the cartel is going to make. Makes sense. So why would you have 11 people on there? You wouldn't, unless this boat was for immigrants, migrants. And that's what it appears to be, because when you look at the close-up images that the Pentagon has released of the execution of these 11 people, you don't see any packages. You only see people. And this is a major crime in international law, to execute migrants in that fashion. And I'm sure that there's going to be more investigation into this, and the International Criminal Court could absolutely get involved. Now, that doesn't mean anything to Donald Trump or the Department of Defense, because the United States does not recognize the International Criminal Court, and they would probably just sanction whoever tried to bring up charges against Trump administration. But this could be a major stain on the United States reputation and our foothold in the global dominance, as we are starting to be seen more as a pariah. And so these sorts of things should not happen. If we had military vessels in the area, they simply could have interdicted the boat to make sure that it wasn't carrying drugs, or turn it away, or whatever they need to do. The show of force in executing these 11 people was completely and wholeheartedly unnecessary. And according to U.S. law, the crime must fit the punishment. The punishment must fit the crime. And in this case, even if they were bringing drugs, would that necessitate execution under U.S. law? No.
I want to cue up a video that I've been given. And as before it starts, I'm going to describe. This was taken October 30th of 2024. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb, or this object, off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile. That you cannot see that drone, and so I'm not going to explain it to you. You'll see exactly what it does. This is when it zoomed out, so you can still see it traveling. So, Mr. Knapp, do you have you heard about events like this occurring, and what information might you have?
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back. We did not have the video, though. There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally some of that stuff gets out in the wild and it comes our way. It should be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff. And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
So,
what flies like that?
You ever had your face chewed on by a wolf?